Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia, chapter 244. And before I even get into the review itself, I don't know if many people are aware of this, but it was announced. I learned like a couple days ago that pretty much that the Fire Force anime is basically taking a little bit of a pretty much 2 week break. So and because of that. When it comes to the like when it comes to Fridays, my usual schedule is I would review my Hero Academia in like the morning or afternoon, and and Fire Force in the evening or at nighttime. But pretty much because Fire Force has been taken out of the equation for at least 2 weeks. When it comes to the My Hero Academia reviews, what you guys are going to see is I'm going to be taking them. I'm going to be handling the My Hero Academia reviews at a little bit more of a laxed pace, almost, just for these next 2 weeks, because with Fire Force just pretty much off the table in order to review for these like next 2 weeks. It's just like I'm not going to be in a kind of a big rush in order to do the My Hero Academia review, so I have more time in order to work on the Fire Force review. But so yeah, just so yeah, and so yeah, just that's kind of how pretty much me not being able to review Fire Force is going to affect the whole My Hero Academia reviews. And and in terms of my thoughts on Fire Force like being on break for these next 2 weeks, I'm hoping beyond God's hope that when Fire Force returns, we'll see. We'll see at least a bit more of a consistent improvement or something, because yeah, I don't know, like Fire Force again, it's been very it's as we know, it's been kind of hit and miss with just the execution and many other things. So hopefully when it returns, we'll have a little more of a we'll have a little bit more of an improvement or something like that. But anyway, I'm getting way too off track. So let's talk about My Hero. Like I said, let's talk about My Hero Academia, chapter 244. And all right, so this was definitely a chapter where, on the surface, it didn't appear in order to have a whole. It didn't appear as though too much happened progression wise until Hawks came in near the end. However, with that being said, I feel this chapter is especially a case where paying attention to the dialogue is crucial, because while a majority of events was just seeing our trio helping Endeavor like capturing criminals, there was actually a few critical lines of dialogue that actually show how far Endeavor has evolved and matured as a hero. The main ones being when he ordered one of his sidekicks in order to focus on evacuating the citizens to safety, and when that policeman had said the incident was resolved without casualties. And both of these points are key, but that last one especially is a crucial point, because obviously before, when we first introduced to Endeavor in the beginning of the series, it was we basically know what Endeavor was like before the beginning of the series. He really didn't care, when it came to being a hero, and the prospect of saving people. Well, like the everyday citizens, that they were pretty much just they were just a means to an end in order to improve his pretty much status in hero society, and for him to be and a way for him to become like the next greatest hero. But and as a whole, he just didn't care to even bother with the small but important details like that, because to him, like saving people, it was just like an afterthought to pretty much what he believed was the best route in order to surpass All Might. Surpassing All Might was his key focus. But now, and so he didn't really even bother with like the smaller details of what being a hero meant. But with but now pretty much now but now that All Might had retired, and his little conversation with All Might, it's actually given him the clarity in order to really understand that that being a hero, it just doesn't involve like it doesn't strictly involve like fighting villains anymore. You pretty much have to and you have to treat the citizens like actual people, and that's pretty much what and though they were only small little lines of dialogue and small moments of that, it in itself just kind of reinforces that, yeah, Endeavor is taking the job of being a hero much more seriously now. He's actually treating the people like people and less like a stepping stone almost. So he understands that his job is to protect the people now. And more importantly, I think one other thing that's happened because of this clarity is that he's actually found a way in order to work within the bound in order to work with pretty much work in order to do his work in a way that he can capture villains and basically secure and pretty much save and pretty much secure the safety of the citizens. Like as we know with pretty much with Endeavor's quirk, it's a lot like Bakugo's in the sense where the Hellflame quirk has a lot of destructive power, and because of that he pretty much he was forced in order to find a way that pretty much that he can fight villains, but also secure the safety of the people, and with that, as with the smallest detail of him like chasing down that villain in the alleyway, it was the safest way in order to do both. In fact, one could say that whole sequence of him chasing down that villain in the alleyway, it also enforces what All Might had said to Bakugo about how Endeavor is the one, about how he could probably learn the most from Endeavor in this case. It's basically how. And in this case, again, it's basically how pretty much Bakugo can use his quirk in a way that both stops the villain and doesn't cause a single casualty. That is, I think, is the most important thing that pretty much Bakugo can probably learn from from basically being under the watchful guidance of Endeavor, and and with this, and I will be fair though, it is something I think that Bakugo has gotten better at understanding, and in general just learning to in terms of thinking more about the safety of bystanders and citizens. Like he's basically started on that path, but Bakugo he pretty much still has a little bit of ways to go in order to understand pretty much the absolute true value of what that means. So in another way, this is pretty much just a bit of a next step in order that's going to move Bakugo towards learning that lesson of how to use his quirk and how to use his quirk in a way that stops villains and saves and secures the lives of the citizens without casualties as well. And in a way, I'm not going to single out Bakugo though. And in a way, I almost feel that this is maybe something that maybe Izuku could also learn as well. But but maybe to a slightly less degree. Like Izuku, I think has maybe a little problem in this area, but not as much as Bakugo. Like Bakugo, I think he needs to take the pretty much limelight in terms of learning how to use his quirk in order to fight villains and make sure that the citizen that there aren't any casualties in the midst of it all. So time to address Hawks, and yeah, I think this chapter might have very well squashed any theory that's been out there that he's become a true villain, because as the chapter shows, he's landed himself in such a desperate situation where all he can do is drop keywords and phrases into pretty much the conversation with pretty much Endeavor in the hopes that pretty much he and Izuku and Bakugo end up cluing in as to what Hawks is, as to what he's saying. Like Hawks is dropping hints that he's as we see from his inner monologue, Hawks is trying to drop little keywords and phrases into that casual conversation in order to say, please understand what I'm saying. I'm in a very desperate situation. I need you to take action on this. Now, so yeah. Now, in terms of Endeavor's what Endeavor's response is going to be to this, as we of what Endeavor's response will be. The end of the chapter, it clearly shows as if that Endeavor has at least has like has clued in has clued in enough in order to know that Hawks is in trouble. So I assume how this is going to play out from here is that Endeavor is going to quietly take the book that pretty much Hawks is offering, and from reading the book he's going to learn the rest from there. But I can't deny either that whatever happens from here, Hawks is officially a dead dead Birdman walking, because the whole vibe of the conversation just screams that whatever it's in the next, whether it's in the next chapter or the next couple, he's not making it out of this alive. And one thing I will add to that is that, like as I've said, as I said previously, I've been a little on the fence on how I'll feel with the prospect of Hawks dying, but I can't deny that this chapter, it's kind of put me on the path where I am starting to get a little scared for Hawks, because this chapter, it definitely had a very tense vibe about it where the idea of Hawks dying is actually starting to scare me a little bit. So I'm not completely on board yet, but it's starting for sure. So yeah, I think what's going to happen is Horikoshi is probably going to build it up a little more before it actually happens. Now let's talk about the crazy prophet villain in this chapter, because yeah, the guy sounded like one of those crazy conspiracy theorists you'd see on the streets, but in this case, considering what we know of what's happened thus far with the villains, it's a little easier in order to take his ramblings at face value. In fact, based on what he's saying plus what we know, what Horikoshi appears to be doing is he's building up what I'm sure he's been building up what I've been thinking about for a while now, which is I feel we're pretty much headed for a pretty much second coming of the villain era that basically all for one had started years ago. But this time it was Shigaraki in the forefront of it all. And in more ways than one, that's kind of been the obvious route for a while with basically everything that's being built up and pushed. But but with this, I think it pushes that into the limelight now. Like this is basically the end game goal, and even more so, it really puts in context a lot of what All for One why All for One has been training Shigaraki in the beginning. Like he was training Shigaraki in order for this pretty much exact moment where he could say, I'm training him in order to truly be the next me, in order to start another villain, another revolution on hero society. And that's essentially what's happening here, is that Shigaraki has started another revolution just as All for One did. And yeah, we're pretty much headed for another dark age of villains for sure. And it'll be interesting to see as to where our heroes are going to what our heroes are going to do when that happens. But as to what will happen to our heroes when that point finally hits, and what's going to happen, like, and I wonder at what point I wonder if there's going to be a time skip before that, or what's going to happen from here, because yeah, there has to be some kind of clincher here that's gonna, if there's gonna be a time skip, there has to be some kind of clincher here. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and it's your Crunchyroll. That Night of Annoying, signing off. Later, guys.